So the latest is that with us being on race 4, you would have heard by now that the revenue's on the poly. We're not on the turf with all of the rain and all that sort of stuff that's happened over there. And make a note that you keep looking closely at all the changes. We're doing this Monday morning, so that's why we're giving you all that information, because it's fresh to us. But by now, I'm sure by the time you're watching it, you're already aware. Well, this first leg of the jackpot out at Fairview on the poly, run over the 1900 metres, is one of the more difficult races. I'll start with Darren Burrows just to get an idea from him as to what he would recommend we do in the first leg of the pot, Mr. Burrows.
You got to play quite wide, Clyde. This is tricky, but I do have a bit of value with two runners. Then in Focus. Now, he's absolutely tumbled in the ratings. He jumps from a good draw. His last start, he absolutely flew from 9 lengths back to a length back and steps up in trips. So that's going to be one of the leading lights. Then Storm Commander, also up in trip, also stayed on very strongly in his last two starts, and he's racing off a very low mark. So 6 and 10, my first two choices, and then 1, 2, and 11 of the rest.
Okay, well, I mean, the market on the Monday is betting 5 to 1 the whole field at this point in time. That may change, but it is one of those races.
Yeah, very hard race, Clyde. Yeah, I don't know what to make of it, to be honest. There is a form update for Downing 7. What number is he, Clyde?
Number 5. Yeah.
He actually ran close up to Sir Nihal Longsword. Was beaten 2 1/4 lengths, ran into 6th position. I've included him. A little bit of a roughie, maybe number 12, Uncle George. Wasn't a great effort last time out, and this son of Korari is a little bit of a nutcase. But I think the stable you can watch, they're starting to come back to form, Clyde. They went through a very quiet spell.
Yeah.
But I think Sharon's turned the corner. And with 55 to shoulder from a neat draw, I expect improvements on his latest efforts. I went several of you. Very difficult race.
Not an easy race, but I think it's more jackpots to play. Personally, because it's the whole field, we heard what Darren likes. I kind of race, to be quite honest. If you can afford, put the whole field. I mean, no point taking chances. Yeah, but Darren's worked one out for us. And I know Daryl Marie's worked another jackpot out for us later. So let's do this jackpot first. For Darren, which is 1, 2, 6, 7, 10, 11, but it's wide open by 2, 5, 6, and 7, by 1, 2, 3, and 8, by 2, 5, and 6. Challenging jackpots today, but they're going to pay well. Timbavati River tops the boards here. It's priced up at 9 to 2 to win race number 5 in the card, which is a handicap at the 66. It's over the 14. And it's again tough. There are a few horses in here with big chances, I would imagine. When you have a look at the current form, Mr. Marie, I know you've worked out a jackpot for us. I'll start with you just to see what you've narrowed it down to, because if you have narrowed it down, it'll help a lot.
4, 5, and 6, Clyde. Let's start with number 6, Path of Choice. He's a dangerous front runner with, excuse me, that's if he gets to the front with Richard Free. He can prove dangerous to peg back. So I'm expecting him to push forward from a tricky draw. This was Timbavati River, number 5. Actually ran above his rating last time out, but the weights were already published. So he comes into this race a kilogram well in, because he achieved a 64 in his later starts. He's in good form. And Humble Tune last time out with the blinkers ran an improved race. I've got a preference for, in order, 5, 6, 4. But like you said, the race doesn't stop there, Clive.
Yeah. Well, Timbavati River does seem to be holding its form at the end of the day. It's been running, some solid, consistent races, which is always a big help, Mr. Burrows.
Yes, for sure, Clyde. You got to put Timbavati River in your first 3 selections, because he's come well on the poly since relocating to the Eastern Cape. He's won, placed second, and unplaced once. Path of Choice. He's not a bad horse on his day. In Cape Town, once upon a time, he was very competitive in higher class handicaps. And he should be thereabouts with Richard Fourie. Admiral's Ransom is interesting because he's only had the 1 starts in the Eastern Cape, and he was a runaway winner. He's got 4 kilos off his back. And then one other to include is American Dream. I actually own this horse with Warren Texera and a few others. And he actually bled 2 runs back. He was suspended for 2 months, and then his comeback run over 1,200 meters. He was quite handy, and then he dropped back and he came back at the finish. He still paid R7.30 a place, and Gavin Smith expected him to be in the first three. And I saw his workout, and Gavin says he's doing really, really well at home. He said if it was on the turf, he would have preferred him because he was drawn a bit deep. On the poly, it's not easy from a 10 draw, but he's going to push forward, and he's definitely good enough to feature here.
Okay, well, we wish you all the very best with that. Let's hope it does run a big race for you. Here's the jackpot from Daryl's perspective now with regards to race 5, where we're going 4, 5 and 6, then 3 and 8, then 2, 6, 7, 10 and 12, and the last leg 1, 4, 5, 6, 9, 10, 11. The last jackpot race is 5, 6, 7 and 8. It's a 210 Rand pot. So it's a graduation plate now over the 1,400 meters. Is this horse Ardita the right one? That's the question you need to ask yourself. Off a rating of 92, I'm going to ask Darren Burrows about this horse. We started up, I see, in Port Elizabeth, then went to KwaZulu-Natal for a couple of runs, etc. Tell us a bit more about this. And I do know you fancy, I think, the second favourite in the race, don't you? You like that other horse, Ramar.
Yes, Clyde. You know, she's decent. I mean, she ran second to Luna Halo in a stakes race. Just that sales race behind Batula. I know there's been a win or two, but that form line is very suspect. A lot of horses that finish close up disappointed in the next start, as well as her last start behind Calamoretta. I'm just nervous about those form lines returning after a break. And for that reason, I'm actually leaning towards the older horse, Ramar. 3 runs back was her last run on the poly. She got beat a neck by Rose of Bayou. She picked up, no, she didn't pick up a penalty. She picked up a penalty in her penultimate start behind Luna Halo, but then she went up to 85 and they dropped her 4 points now after that disappointing effort. So I think back on the poly and Richard Fourie, I think he can give the favourite Ardita a big run.
Okay, interestingly, I obviously think quite a bit of that also Ardita trying the Bloodstock SA Sales Cup once upon a time and the debutante. So Gavin must rate that also a little bit, but is there a danger? I mean, Darren seems to think maybe Ramar, you as a danger? Or is there
I'm not too sure on her well-being, Clyde. She's been off for just on 2.5 months, Ardita. I mean, she didn't disgrace herself in a grade 2, so I think she's certainly got ability. She's the best weighted in this lineup. She's got early toe, 54.5 to shoulder, and I think she could have benefited from that time off because she's quite a nice, strong daughter of Vision. Excuse me, Clyde. So I'll give her a strong winning chance. I've only backed her up with Darren's choice, Ramar. 3 runs back, Clyde. That was a cracking effort behind a very, very consistent mare in Rosa Bayou. If she can reproduce a similar effort again on the poly, I think she certainly is the favourite's biggest danger. So 3 and 8 to fight it out. No surprises here for me.
Yeah, Ramar, one of their better runs was the 14 poly, so course and distance suited. Darren's got Ramar as a recommendation here, so let's put that up. Number 3, Ramar, who's, well, on the Monday, this is Monday, trading around 5 to 1. That's an each way recommendation in this event. It'll be a good race. Simanga Kamalo and Richard Fourie. So now we're on the poly 1200 meters. This particular event, the 7th, is open. They bet 3 to 1 the field. Just a reminder about our social media options at the bottom of the screen over there that you can have a look at. And that's the information that you guys can make a note of. Also, if you want to have a bet with the Betway guys, there it is. Betway do sponsor Weighted to Win so that you're aware of it. And there's their code. You just scan it and you'll get your account up and running. Well, this race, they bet almost 3 to 1 the field. It's a handicap at the 78 level. There are quite a few in here with chances. Hopefully, Daryl Marie's got a shrewdy for us here. I'm looking for a 20 to 1 shot to get some
what
doubles.
price is number 2, Clyde?
Number 2,
Putin's
Putin's Promise, 12 to 1.
Oh, that's good enough, isn't it?
Good enough, of course.
Don't be greedy and stingy.
Not greedy at all. 12 to 1 is fantastic.
I think
What outright?
his penultimate start.
That stable's flying at the moment.
Yes. That stable's flying. Penultimate start just got touched off by Life on Mars. Last time out, he ran behind Clifftop. He had no chance at the weights, Clyde. He was out. Back in a handicap, 1.5 off his back from a neat draw. I expect improvement. There are some form updates, Clyde. Don't know if these horses are going to take part, but Father's Frost beaten 6 lengths by Vegas Gold. Cool Winter beaten 3 lengths by Vegas Gold. They finished 9th and 10th.
1 and 4. Okay. Yeah.
I'll just say Putin's Promise, the each way play, Clyde. This is a very, very difficult race. I actually give chances to several over here. My second pick is number 12, Joyous Jubilee. Now, this horse, when he gets handy on the poly track, he certainly is capable. And he's only got 53.5 to shoulder. If Chase can get him up front, it could prove very hard to peg back. So I'm going 2 and 12 over here.
Well, they're both double figures, both 12, 14 to 1, the two of them. Could be anything. Mr. Burrows, you got those kind of horses here?
Yes, I've got 2, 5, and 6 in my play. Now let's start off with Putin's Promise. I thought a very good run in his penultimate start, and last time outclassed from a deep draw. He's now drawn 1 and the apprentice allowance. Giacomo Puccini. Now the highest rating he achieved was a 95. And he was running in some very high-class handicaps once upon a time. He won on the poly at Greyville once, so he does handle poly. And his recent form is showing glimpses of his earlier ability. And with Muzi Yeni from a 3 draw, I think Giacomo Puccini is a big runner. And then the 3-year-old First Origin, very eye-catching last start behind Narcos, flying up late. He's drawn middle of the field. Gavin Smith, William Courtois, up in trip. I think that's no concern. So 2, 5, and 6 to fight it out.
Okay. Thanks so much for that, Darren. Daryl Marie's worked out 2, 6, 7, 10, 12. You've heard from Darren what he likes for the 7th race. And remember, there's also a double opportunity coming up later on. And I do know that Darren does like a little bit of number 1 later in the last race if you want some value there. That's the play. Hopefully it's been a good one. Thank you for watching Betway's Waiter to Win.